And by the way, the very last book I'm going to show is the most expensive non-superhero book in the hobby. Welcome everybody to Keston's Old School Comic Books. This is part 2 of a 2-part series featuring my favorite Canadian. It is Comic Collector Geek, CCG, as I know him. And he has been super prolific this year. He's put out a video every single day on Golden Age comic books. So I'm always looking to him for ideas about what to present on. What we're going to talk about today is this continuation of these under the radar Golden Age comic books. So recently there's been this huge run on modern comic books, on bronze, on silver, and to gold to a lesser extent. So here's some books that are, I think, really interesting that you may not have ever heard of before. Back on his channel, we started with the comics that are less than $100 that you can buy. Then we've been working our way up to more expensive books. Without further ado, Alan is going to talk about his, I believe this is your third best book.
Yeah, this is my third one, Smash Comics. And this is actually a specific issue that you have to look for, issue 42. It's one that you can get for still under $100. Paid $50, and this is a 3.5. Why this issue though? It's got an okay cover. This is the first appearance of Lady Luck. A lot of these like B-tier publishers like Dynamite or Image, like, you know, mainly Dynamite is the one I'm thinking about. They have brought back a lot of these Golden Age characters. Miss Mask, Phantom Lady, all these kind of like Golden Age characters, and they're sort of going back and, you know, resurging the interest in those Golden Age characters that have sort of been long forgotten. And to pick up a first appearance from the Golden Age for under $100, it seems like a pretty no-brainer to me. So this is one that I definitely recommend. Smash Comics 42.
My next book is pretty cool. Folks who have seen my channel may have seen this book before. This is More Fun Comics number 54. And this is a classic Bernard Bailey cover. And it's a really early Spectre appearance too. Spectre's first appearance was in More Fun Comics number 52. So it's just a couple of issues after that. And among all the Golden Age covers, this is considered to be in the top 10. So it's just an amazing cover. It's a 9.0 copy too. Very, very rare in that grade. A total on census, I believe there's something like 40 or 50 copies total. This book in low grade will be about $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Mid grade, it's 10 or 15, and at this grade, it's $40,000 or $50,000 book. I just absolutely love this cover. Spectre appears, it's like a, I don't know, what is he, 100 feet maybe? This particular one.
Yeah, he looks like a giant, right? Yeah.
These like old airplanes, he's just sort of snatching them from the air.
I just got my Grail, More Fun Comics, just like a few months ago. More Fun 55.
Oh, great. Okay.
That's my big one. And it's a low grade. It's like a 1, non-restored 1. And that's like a $8,000 to $10,000 book, in as a 1.
As a 1.
So I think your estimate of that price you might be shocked if it ever went back to auction, because the More Funds have really heated up recently. There was an announcement at the Black Adam movie with The Rock, right? He announced that he kept on referring to the JSA. The Justice Association of America. And that's the Golden Age era of DC, right? Okay. And then he said, he's going to beat up Dr. Fate and all these other Golden Age characters. So it was sort of like, people were like, what? Who are these characters? They were sort of under the radar kind of characters from the Golden Age. People started looking at More Fun Comics. And I've seen in the last 3 months, the prices have quadrupled. Yeah, I think you'd be surprised what your book would go for.
Yes, this is my latest acquisition of a big book, because I'm in the position now where I've got to sell like my most valuable books to get another valuable book, which really, really hurts to do that. But yeah, I got it about a year ago. So fortunately, I think I got it before the big run, as you say. But these books have been pretty flat, I think, over the last 10 years. I mean, maybe going up, a few percentage points each year. So I'm glad that I got this when I did. And also, I wanted to let you know, this is the Nova Scotia pedigree, Alan.
Oh, nice. That's where I'm from.
There's a guy named Jim Payette, who is a really well-known collector and dealer. He's a person who bought that collection up in Nova Scotia and sort of brought it back and brought it into market. Jim is such a nice guy too. I've talked to him on the phone a couple of times. You were growing up, you didn't even know it, but this book was probably like right in the neighborhood next door to you.
When I collected back then, it was like, you just didn't know. Nobody knew. Right. Like somebody could have like this massive collection and nobody would know about it. It wasn't like nowadays where everything's online, everybody knows everything. But yeah, those more funds were totally under the radar up till, as I said, the announcement, where all of a sudden people were kind of going back and sort of saying, hey, why are these books so cheap? More Fun is got some major character first appearances like Aquaman, Superboy, Green Arrow.
That's right.
Is it Green? Yeah, Green Arrow, Speedy, Dr. Fate, and obviously Spectre. Pretty big characters all made their first appearances in More Fun. So definitely a great choice. I'm keeping it cheap. I'm going to bring some more cheap ones.
Alan does have some heat. If you just look behind him, you can see some of the big books he has. And so he's got, these aren't under the radar books, but he's got the trifecta of Wonder Woman books. So he's got All-Star #8. He's got Sensation Comics #1 and Wonder Woman #1 too. So those are absolutely huge. So I think you're being a little bit too modest, Alan. You definitely got some heat behind you.
Yeah, the only problem is I have no heat in front of me. So, so I'm going to show some cool books that I think are totally under the radar. Again, under that $100 range. The reason I'm kind of showing these ones is that I want people to sort of see the golden age as a golden opportunity. This is Captain Easy. And the reason I'm showing this one in particular is this is Alex Schomburg, unaccredited art. A lot of these golden age publishers didn't give the artist credit on the cover. That was really a common issue. He gets the cover credit later, but not in this issue. So this is Captain Easy #12. And it has like that, kind of some good girl art, really great cover. And actually you can pick up ones that he actually has, like he signed at Zila. I picked this up for $100 and it's a 4.5. Wow. And this has a lot more elements to it. This has like the lingerie, it has like the bondage, it has like the cannibal, it has like some action with the guy getting shot with arrows. Can you see that? I don't know.
Yeah,
and it has like the superhero guy, Captain Easy, in the background, thunking the bad guy on the head. So it's just like it's got so many fun elements, and it has the skulls. So whenever you see skulls on a golden age comic, that's like a little bit of a key thing. And this is just the next issue. This is issue #13. So a lot of really under the radar artists from the golden age, or books that they did that nobody realizes. So that's my spec.
Can you show that cover again, Alan?
Which one? This one, the 13?
Yeah. It's so Captain Easy's got a hammer in his right hand. In front of him is a cauldron, right? And so the cannibal is going to put the lady in there to like cook her. Is that right?
Of course. Yeah. Lots of Schomburg. The reason he's my favorite golden age artist is he had a lot more elements than a lot of the other artists. He had a lot more like almost like a story being told within the cover. I always like that element. I always like to look for artists that are really hot, like Schomburg, Matt Baker, Biro, you mentioned. Look for those key artists, but in titles that people are not super familiar with. Right. Like everybody knows Schomburg in terms of that Startling Comics. They know him in terms of some of the Wonder comics, but they don't know Captain Easy. It's not like one of those titles that people really know, but there are collectors of that artist. So I think it's one of those really under the radar kind of things where you can pick it up and get those hot artists and for a good price. Matt Baker and L.B. Cole is another one. Those two, and you look for the romance books, and they're really under the radar. Like you can pick those up in that $100 range again. And to a collector, you could flip it to like a Matt Baker collector for like thousands. It's like it's kind of cool that way.
So this is my final book. Alan, can you guess which book this is? Because I think you've seen it on another video of mine.
This Suspense.
Suspense Comics #3. Yep.
Yeah.
So this is the most expensive non-superhero comic book that there is. It's Suspense Comics #3. This is actually a fairly nice copy of this book too. So it's 7.0. It's the Crowley copy. This is considered to be Alex Schomburg's masterpiece. So Alan was talking about Alex Schomburg just a few minutes ago. Alex Schomburg and other artists are being asked to make the enemies of the United States at the time to be as evil as possible. So this is this cross between the KKK and Nazis. You can see this damsel in distress. She's about ready to get killed by this guy in the middle. And then the hero is way up there in the corner, which I always think is hilarious. Kind of going back to that theme, like the heroes in these covers always seem like they have no chance
Totally
at all. Yeah.
Totally useless heroes.
And I love this too. If you can make this out, this is a Tommy gun, right? So somebody's got a Tommy gun, and there he is with a spear trying to, save his love interest. So I just think this is a absolutely great cover. This book is really, really tough to find in any grade. I believe that there are 34 copies on the census. I mean, that is it. Now, there are a few books that CBCS has graded as well. So let's say that there are maybe 40 copies that have been graded. But this book only has one staple to it as well. So a lot of the books that do remain don't have a centerfold. And so you have a lot of these books that are basically 0.5s because they're incomplete. In fact, this book that's a 7.0 is the fourth best known copy right now. There's a 9.2 that's the Mile High. The 9.0, that's the pen copy. The D copy is 8.0. Then you have the Crowley copy at 7.0. And then there's a couple others that are above a 5.0, and that's about it. In low grade, Alan, it's hard to get this book for less than maybe 20 grand. A 5.0 sold on Heritage for a little over 50,000, which I think was actually a pretty good deal. I bought this book a long time ago, but I think this might be actually a six-figure book if it went up for auction.
Oh, easily six-figure. Yeah. It's kind of the cream of the crop in terms of golden age non-superhero books. I mean, it is the number one book. I have the homage cover to it.
Oh yeah,
it's a golden age book, but it's sort of like an homage cover. Shock suspense stories.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This is kind of like an homage cover. So this is like the cheaper version. This is still an expensive book. This is like $1,000 book.
Yeah, is that the 50s, Alan? I think that's a 1950s book, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 1953.
That's a great cover.
Yeah, it's a great cover. It's the same idea though. It's like got the KKK ish kind of guys, the girl in bondage. I got one more, and this one I don't think you'll know. This is gonna be one that is under your radar. I hope. And there's just so much going for it. When I was going for under the radar, I was going for really under the radar. So this is Joker #1.
Mm-mm.
And you're probably like, what is this book? It's like a digest, okay? Mm-hmm. And it is Golden Age, obviously, from 1941, October 1941. Wow, okay. It just happens to feature a lot of great people. It features Alex Schomburg. He does like a 2 or 3 page story in it. It's actually Stan Lee's first non-comic related artwork, not artwork, but story.
Wow. Okay.
He was 19 at the time when this book was created.
What year is this?
This is 1941.
Yeah. So by the way, Alan, his first work for superheroes was in Captain America Comics #3. And so that was in 1941 as well. And so this is right around that same time, maybe a couple months later.
So this is October 41.
October 41. Okay.
So yeah, one of his, as I said, is like, I know that he did comic stuff before.
Yeah.
This is his first, is a story. He wrote a story inside.
Yeah. And by the way, isn't that crazy to think about though, that Stan Lee, who just passed away a couple of years ago, contributed to comics in 1941. It just shows you how long he was involved with comic books.
I know, it's crazy. And he was still involved right up till the end, right?
That's right.
Pretty crazy. So this book actually is quite rare. I've only seen it once. I think I paid 80 for it. Like it wasn't really pricey. And I talked the guy down, obviously. He had like 100 something, but I like talking people down on the prices. It was Timely that actually produced this. Okay. So the same as those Submariners and Captain America. I think they're all through Timely, right? Timely
Correct.
Atlas.
Yep.
It ran up until the late 70s.
Okay.
But this is so rare that it's not even on the census. It was done by Martin Goodman. And it's kind of nice. It's got kind of a sexy kind of cover too. Like, he's like projecting a shadow of like a little statue. It's kind of cool. My copy is probably like a 6, I would say. Like, this is a 6 or 7. So it's pretty solid. If you can find it, I think it's one of those ones that people just don't realize the significance behind it.
What a great discovery. I think that's one of the awesome things about the Golden Age too, is that there is such a rich history over there. And sometimes books get overlooked because they're too rare almost. It's just kind of like, it's almost a book that doesn't exist.
Well, actually, that was one thing I really want to mention to people watching this video. I really recommend people pick up Gerber,
Mm-hmm.
Gerber's Guide. And it's like basically it's a book of photos.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a photo presentation of like it's like A to Z, but it's like in 2 volumes, right? You can see all these really great covers. That's why that suspense one, like that was an underrated book. Nobody really looked for it. But then it was mentioned in the Gerber's Guide, and all
That's
of a
right.
sudden it became this book that everyone was wanting. So there's a lot of books still in that book that are under the radar. If you want to find almost like a how-to guide to which books to pick up from the Golden Age, I would recommend Gerber's Guide. It's just as a great way to find good investments from the Golden Age. So
That's right. Yeah. Well, thanks for showing me that Joker. I had not seen that before. What a cool book. Everybody, thanks so much for sticking with us with Alan and me. If you want to see more about Suspense Comics #3, I actually create a video on it. So check that out and make sure that you run over to Alan's channel, Comic Collector Geek. And I've got the link in the description box. So please check him out. He's got so much great content. And as you can tell here, he's just a great historian of Golden Age comic books. Hope to see you all around real soon. And Alan, thanks, my friend, for partnering here. And hopefully we can do it again real soon. Okay.
yeah, thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.